Hi, everyone, and welcome back to VectorLab. So today we're really thrilled to be joined by Amina. Amina is the Senior Director of Analytics and Data Science at Doctors Without Borders, or Médecins Sans Frontières. And I was so excited because personally, I'm a huge admirer of MSF because I love the mission that this organization wants to bring medical care to people in crisis zones all over the world. And what's I didn't know is that it's powered by Databricks, and there are a lot of GenAI projects that go in the background. So today we're going to interview Amina and explore a bit of that. But before we dive into the tech side of things, can you start by telling us a bit about your background? How did you find your way into data and eventually into the humanitarian space? Like what drew you specifically to MSF?
Yeah, thanks, Laura and Maria. It's really exciting to be part of VectorLab because I've been following your videos for a while, so amazing to be here. So I started off in the humanitarian world. I've always been in the humanitarian world. I started off my career at UNICEF. I was there for about 10 years or so, and even in UNICEF, I was in the data world, trying to use data and AI to use it intelligently to have some kind of impact, like real impact for the children. And about 2.5 years ago, I started at Doctors Without Borders. Here, I joined to kind of like start and lead their data science team. It's been an amazing journey over here. The thing that really, I would say, attracted me to MSF, or, in other words, Doctors Without Borders, is that, first of all, it has an incredible mission. Like you said, Lara, providing life-saving medical care where it's most needed in the toughest places around the world. And secondly, I feel like MSF is one of those organizations, one of those rare organizations in the nonprofit world, which instead of like catching up with technology, it's in the forefront. It's always like looking ahead, looking what's around the corner. And for me, I think that's so powerful. It's not just about using AI as in like a buzzword. It wants to use AI and technology to make real impact.
Amazing. Thanks for that. And for those that doesn't know the whole scope of MSF's work, so can you give us a quick overview of the organization mission and scale?
Yeah. So MSF is, like I said, it's a medical humanitarian organization, and it steps in whenever there is any kind of medical urgent need anywhere in the world. It could be an outbreak, it could be a conflict zone, it could be after a natural disaster. We are in more than 70 countries around the world. Our teams are doing everything from surgeries to mental health care, maternal health care, vaccinations. Yeah, so we're doing a lot of work in a lot of tough places around the world.
And now, how does your mission, how does data and Gen AI and machine learning fit into that mission? Can you share an example of a project where data science, Gen AI can make a difference?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Because sometimes, when I tell people that I do data science work at MSF, they're like, nonprofit, data science, like, how do they intersect? And, actually, there's just so much that you can do, even in the nonprofit world, with data science. So just to give you an example of something that exciting that we did just now for year end. So year end at any nonprofit is the busiest time of the year. It's like one of those times because November is Giving Tuesday, and then December people like to give, it's the end of the year, holiday season. So it's one of the busiest times for us, which means that we are busy sending out campaigns, year end campaigns, reminding people to give. One of the thing is that so we have digital campaigns and we have, say, mail piece campaigns that go out. So for the mail piece campaigns, one thing that you can do is just send it out to the whole donor file and then just sit back and pray that, okay, we're going to get some kind of response. The spray and pray kind of an approach where, okay, just send it out to everyone. First of all, of course, it's super inefficient. It's extremely expensive. And not to mention the carbon footprint is horrible, right? So for this purpose, we're using machine learning to kind of figure out exactly who are the people or what is the right mix of donors that we should be sending this mail out so that we send this mail out to the right people at the right time so we can get the best response, which is efficient, which is not as expensive, and with, climate change in mind. The way we've set it up, and measurement and impact, like you talked about, saying, some kind of tangible impact. So that's really important for us to kind of like measure if it's really having some kind of impact or an effect. So the way we've set it up is we have had our donors, and we figured out through our machine learning model who are the donors who are most likely to respond to our campaign. And we took those donors who are most likely to donate, and we put them in our model group. And then we have a control group, which is just a random selection of donors. So come February 2026, when year end is over, when donations are done, and we all have all our results in, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of like compare the results between the model group and the control group and see maybe what was the response rate, control group versus model group. What was the average gift size, model group, control group. So this is like, the point behind is that we don't want to change the campaign strategy on anything. We're going to keep the same campaign strategy, but we want to make it more efficient, sharper, so that we can reach the right people at the right time efficiently. This is like one of the ways that I would say data science is working behind the scenes quietly to make quite a huge impact, a big difference.
Amazing, thanks. So it's more about how do you learn from how you've been doing campaigns so far and put it back into the model and learn from this.
Exactly.
Amazing. And then, so let's geek out a little bit. So as we gave it up in the beginning, so we know that MSF actually using Databricks for their data platform. So what exactly are you doing exactly with Databricks, and what types of pipelines or models you have been building?
Yeah, so we love Databricks. Databricks is the backbone, I would say, of our AI ecosystem. We do a lot of heavy duty data cleansing work, data transformation, a lot of EDA, exploratory data analysis before we even start building out the models. We use Unity Catalog very heavily. I love the storage system within Unity Catalog. The governance is amazing over there. So we started off with building machine learning models in Databricks, which included propensity model, segmentation model. If you want to think about donors are kind of like, from a machine learning perspective or from a data science perspective, donors are just like customers. So for example, if you're working in a retail company and you want to see who are the customers who will keep coming back, who are the customers who will buy more, you want to kind of like, and use machine learning models to kind of predict that. You want to apply the same thing on say the donor side, as in who are the donors who will want to keep coming back, who are the donors who are going to churn out, or who are the donors who are going to give more, and things like that. So we've been building a lot of machine learning models, and then this year we started building out really exciting GenAI stuff, and I'm super excited to talk about some of those examples.
I mean, I cannot wait to see what you guys are building and how we can work together. Not we can help together.
Yeah, let's talk about GenAI. Can you talk us through GenAI projects that you're driving at MSF? Like, what's the architecture, the challenges that you're trying to solve, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. So we the way we started off on our GenAI journey was, I feel like if we start off from the technical side and we come up with the solutions, and it's like, hey, here's a great GenAI product that we've come up with, and why don't you, and we just give it to business and ask them to start using it. I feel that's such a wrong approach, because people will never adopt it, because this is not coming from the business side, from the operations side. So the way we kind of like start building off on any of our GenAI projects is start off with discovery sessions with the business side, with our fundraising teams, with our marketing teams, and figure out what are their pain points, where are the inefficiencies, what are the repetitive tasks where we can add value, and start off over there. We've had several discovery sessions and came up with several use cases, people within, and all our use cases are internal facing. We are pretty risk averse in the sense that we don't want any GenAI product talking to any of our donors. It's only for internal efficiencies for now. So one of the things that I'm super excited about, that I do want to show you the architecture for, is a GenAI app, which we call the donor communication app. I am looking for, if you guys have any suggestions for a good name for this, I think we are looking for an exciting name for this product. So we have donors coming from so many different diverse backgrounds, right? There are some donors who donate to us because maybe they witness a humanitarian crisis. Then there are donors who donate to us because they feel that they are connected to a certain cause. So every donor has their own set of motivations and their own interests. And it's really
Amina, sorry,
important.
question.
Yeah,
Donor can be anyone, right? No matter how much they donate or anything.
absolutely. Like
Okay.
starting from like somebody who wants to give just $5 to somebody who wants to, say, write a 7-figure gift check.
Amazing.
We have most of, I would say, percentage of our money comes from individual donors like you and I, rather than from organizations and all. So this app is also focused on individual donors like us. And when we're looking at the donors, we really want to talk to them about things that move them, that matter to them. And, we want to answer questions that are related to the things that they want to hear about, not about things that, they have no interest in, of course. So, for example, if a fundraising officer is about to meet up with a donor or send an email to a donor, they have to, especially before a meeting, they do considerable amount of homework in the sense that we have lots of data related to our donors coming from our Salesforce CRM system, and that's their giving history and all that kind of stuff, which is in a very structured form, in the form of tables. And then we have a lot of unstructured data sitting in our different parts of our file system. And from Word documents to PDFs, and it could be anything from, say, meeting notes to, say, MSF policies, to our stories from the field, like from our doctors, from our nurses, because people want to hear those stories, specifically to say, if they're a cause that they're really interested in, so stories from that particular cause. So for example, if somebody wants to meet up with Amina and they're going to meet up with me, and before they even meet up with me, they want to do their homework. So they have to go through tons and tons of structured data, figure that out. They have to read through or sift through the Word documents and the PDFs. It takes, if not days, it can take days, or sometimes it can even take weeks, depending on the subject, right? And what we, with this GenAI app, we have in the backend, it's a RAG model, and in the backend, basically, we have fed the structured data as well as the unstructured data, so that as a fundraising officer, they can put it, I'm going to meet up with Amina Alavi. Can you please give me a summary of her giving history, what her motivations, what campaigns that she has been giving to, and if there are any, policy documents or, field stories that I can talk about, all those things. So literally it's going from days and weeks to seconds. So that's how much we can save time over here. Everything is, yeah.
Question. Is this for customers or donors who you have been interacting in the past? And then what's happening to new donors or people that you have no data points on?
That's a good question. I think that's going to be our next GenAI app. For now, this one is only, this one is only the prospect donors are the most interesting area, but also the most difficult area in the sense that we don't have enough data on them to even start anywhere. But yeah, that's something that we're working on and trying to get to a better place with that. And I said, everything is built on Databricks. So should I go ahead and share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, amazing. And just stop me anywhere you guys want to. I know I feel like I'm talking too much, and then it's just I sometimes need to stop
go
and
for it.
pause. All right, let me share my screen. All right, so this is the full architecture of how we built out our GenAI app all the way up to Databricks apps. Like I said, a lot of this is stuff that was learned from some of the sessions that you guys have had on VectorLab. Right now, this looks very scary end to end, so I'm just going to break it down and go step by step. All right. So like I said, we have tons and tons of unstructured data. We have Word documents, we have PDFs, etc. So here, what I've done is on the right-hand side, you see a completely fictitious, we don't have documents like this, but I just made up a document for the sake of this presentation. But suppose there is this PDF like this about a donor by the name of Albert Einstein. And what we do is we take all of these PDFs and these Word documents on a pretty regular basis and put it in the Unity catalog volumes. So that's like the first step. Then what we do is from the Unity catalog volumes, we move it into the Unity catalog delta tables by chunking up our PDFs into like smaller chunks. We created a new vector endpoint for this one, but I think in the future we are using the same vector endpoints for different GenAI apps. And of course, we all know that machines do not understand ABCs, so I converted them into numbers. I embedded it, and then ultimately created the Unity catalog vector index. And you see over here, as soon as I created the vector index, I was able to query it. And actually, I have to say it worked so well that I didn't really have to manipulate too much, in the sense with thousands of PDF documents inside the volumes, inside the embeddings. On the right-hand side, you see the results where I put in the query Albert Einstein, and it was able to pick up the right response and the right document, and didn't just pick up, say, Galileo. So the next step, and just stop me anywhere if you have any questions. So the next step was our structured data, which is data coming from our CRM system, which is in very proper table formats. And we have it in our delta tables, in our Unity catalog delta tables. And what we did was, so that our GenAI app is able to access this data in a more intelligent way, we built out tools in the form of Unity catalog functions. So on the right-hand side, you see one of the functions that we created, which, like this get contact profile, basically goes in and pulls the history, the giving history, and some of the most important, say, data points from this structured data. So we built out a number of functions to be used as tools. Okay, this was the funnest part, I feel, the Mosaic playground. So once our tools were set up, our vector index was set up, we came to the Mosaic playground. We attached our tool over here. For a demonstration purpose, I only attached 2 tools, but we attached our tools to it. So all the functions that we had created, our vector index, to the playground. Then the other thing that I loved about Databricks is that I was able to compare between different LLMs. So it's like, once I run, as in, like, for example, in the system prompt, what I did was, not in the system prompt, sorry, in the prompt itself, I put in, give me information about Albert Einstein, and it went into the vector index, it went into the functions and pulled out this data. But as you can see, the 3 columns over here, the first one is Claude. The other 2 are the 2 different MetaLlama ones over here. I can't see which one is which, but the 3 different models. And you can see each one of them is coming back with a different kind of a response. That's another thing that I loved about Databricks, where I could compare different LLMs, how they are behaving, and then pick and choose the one which works the best for me. For this, yes.
I have a question on the tools you guys created. So
Okay.
how do you define which tools need to be created for a process like this?
That's actually, that goes back to this discovery session. So in the discovery session, when we are actually coming up with the ideas of what is the idea which could have the biggest impact, that's when we start off with the main idea. So it starts off over there. And then from there on, we keep having very regular discussions with our business teams, with our marketing team, and try to see exactly what is the kind of information that they're looking for.
Yeah.
So, for example, they want the information specifically about what are the interests, what is Albert Einstein's interest. So if that's the one that I would I've built out a function module which would pull up all the motivations, the interests, the campaigns that Albert Einstein have been giving to, so that I kind of get an idea of, okay, where does the interest lie, right? It could be something like generic as like, I just want a summary. I want to know, okay, how long this person has been giving, how much do they give, how are they one of those donors who like to engage a lot, or are they one of those donors who are like, it's, don't talk to me, but I'll keep giving kind of a thing. So I think it really depends on the users at the end of the day. What is the information that they're, so all the requirements come out for these functions come out from the regular discussions that we're having with our business users. And I feel that we like to do a very agile approach where we're not looking for the perfect product and then handing it over. As we are going through the several iterations, and I really believe in like building out the prototype, maybe quick and dirty in the beginning so that people see the potential of things and then start enhancing it and then start evaluating it. So that was a lot of like back and forth between the users and, figuring out from them exactly what is it that they want.
I love that you did this and that you spent so much time and that you find it so important, because sometimes people skip that step. And so then you build something very sophisticated, but that nobody's going to use. And I love also your second observation about building something that's not perfect, because sometimes business users don't really understand, why do I even need this GenAI thing? I don't understand it. But when you present a point of view of what it could look like, then they come up with strong point of views of, oh, can you tweak this? Can you change this? Can you change that? Whereas before, maybe they don't really know what their point of view is.
Absolutely, 100%. Like sometimes I feel like, a big part of bringing about any new product is also, of course, change management and acceptance from people who are actually going to be using it. And the more that they're involved through the process and they know every step of the way how it's going, the more they get excited about it, and the more they want to give their feedback. Initially, it might not be there, but yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, so for me, I think three things resonate. The first one is that in the tools, you see the tools as the step in the process people make. So we're trying to kind of templatize the way they would work through these tools. And then these tools can be reused in many different processes, or if you want to build an app for a different team, let's say, you can reuse a lot of these tools to the other team. And the second thing is you think first on the problem we're trying to solve and then think about the technology and how to get there, right? So try to understand what are we solving for, which are the right people to involve in this project, so that then everyone is aligned and everyone's working toward the same goal. And the last thing is the one with the business stakeholders being involved in the process, growing with the process, loving it as well. And we see a lot of these business now people turning into more AI SMEs when they understand the process and they can vibe code something very quickly and help you pivot and pilot.
Absolutely. So true. The alignment on goals and just, moving them to a stage where they're ready for AI is key. Absolutely. 100% agree.
Amazing. Thanks, Amina.
So for us, Claude worked great. So we chose Claude. And I know the screens have kind of changed a little bit now, but basically what we did after that is we used the export button to, again, use one of the best features, I feel, within this whole GenAI landscape, which is once you export it, you get something which is called a driver notebook, which is just a Python notebook. And that is like such a great starting point for a data scientist. And I joke with my team and I say, we need to do what us data scientists are best at doing, which is cut, copy, paste. We need to cut, copy, paste this. And yeah, we are like, we're so good at it. So it's like, we need to cut, copy, paste it and just start enhancing it. So this is a great starting point, saves so much time because you don't have to build out this notebook from scratch. So basically that's exactly what we did. This was a great starting point for us. And then we took it and then we started enhancing it and started looking at the framework and see if we needed, to add something else, added different system prompts and all that kind of stuff. So once our notebook was ready, we defined and logged our agent. This was a part where I think we spent a lot of time evaluating how well it's working. I wouldn't say that our evaluation is ever going to be done. I think we will keep this evaluation process as an ongoing evaluation process, making sure that, there's no data drift or, things haven't changed, or maybe, even go back to a bit of a drawing board and see maybe we have a better LLM, which can get better results. So I think this evaluation process is a never ending process. And we want to make sure that, we keep getting human feedback and we keep putting in, make just enhances as much as possible. And then once all of that was done, we just registered and deployed our agent model. The last thing, which and that was another session you did with Ivan on Databricks apps. We developed our Databricks app where which is another area of Databricks which I feel is just makes life so much easy for data scientists. Just go in and we chose our template, our framework, and we were able to deploy our AI assistant.
Yeah, so Databricks apps and the templates you can get, also all the cookbooks we see a lot of growth on
Yes.
this side of the project, on the app, on the platform. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love Databricks apps. I feel like it's made initially when we started doing this project and we weren't thinking of Databricks apps, we had actually buffered out a big chunk of our planning for building out the front end of the app. But just because we have Databricks apps now, it literally took us like 2 days to build this out.
Did you guys do it yourselves or you offload it to another team?
We did it ourselves. We did it
Nice.
ourselves. Yes.
Cool. And then where is this project at the moment? Is it in a production stage? Has been tested with real users?
It's not in the production stage yet, but I think we're almost there. I can see the results. The results are good. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that maybe we can get something out before the end of this year. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, sorry.
How does this productionization process look like for you guys? Like, what are the steps that need to happen, or who needs to sign this off for this to get out?
So from the business side, of course, first of all, we need to make sure, 100% sure, that the evaluation is, I feel, the trickiest part. We need to get sign off from all the business parties that are involved. Say, if the marketing team is involved, our fundraising officers who are actually going to use the product, they're happy with it. We feel that at least that part is satisfied. So we need to get a sign off from their end.
And then if we look ahead, so what are the big challenges or opportunities you see for data science in your world, so the humanitarian world, and anything you are excited about, anything you think you could achieve in the next 5 years?
I feel like a lot of times, and I'm just talking about the nonprofit world right now, I feel like in the nonprofit world, as far as like data or even data science is concerned, we are reactive rather than proactive. And I feel, and like, for example, if we can use data science to anticipate where the outbreak is about to happen, if there is going to be a supply shortage or, a conflict is about to happen. Now, those are the areas that can make a real difference in the humanitarian world. So I think those are such amazing opportunities, which I feel that data science can actually do right now. We just need to get into that space. And I really hope that MSF is there. Like right now, we're working more on the donor side, but I feel that in the next 5 years, we'll be working in that area as well. One challenge that I would say is that we really need to ensure that we're doing this ethically, doing this responsibly, because at the end of the day, we are indirectly having an impact on real lives. So we have to do it in an ethical way. It's all about, we never want to lose our donor trust, because that is the key. That is, that's why, donors keep coming back to us, because they trust us so much. So I think that we just need to ensure that we use AI, but we have to use it responsibly and ethically.
Amazing. So thanks, Amina, so much for sharing all of those architectures and insights. I find it so inspiring to see, how data science and GenAI can support that mission. We're going to wrap up now, but before we do, if someone who's listening today wants to get involved or support Doctors Without Borders, where should they go? Is there a website they can go to?
Yes. So excited to share that. It is give.doctorswithoutborders.org.
We'll make sure to add it in the notes in the video. Thank you
Amazing.
so much. Thanks so much,
you,
Amina.
Amina.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.